So that's more or less where we are in the national scene, and a couple of final observations before I hand you off to your keynote speaker. The first is that the approach we've already laid out in Massachusetts fits the concept of an expanded civil right to counsel as part of a comprehensive access to justice approach. When I think about this, I find it helpful to think about sort of three prongs or three starting points for the focus. Expanding and focusing on what the courts themselves do with simplification, with expanding the roles of the players to try to promote access. Supporting the full array of very exciting limited assistance programs, but testing them with empirical work to figure out which ones actually make a difference in terms of protecting the weaker parties in terms of case outcomes, but having with that, not saving for another day, an expanded right to counsel, which you could think of as a non-negotiable bottom line. When something important is at stake and nothing short of full representation is going to protect that right, that's where we need a civil right to counsel. And figuring out the details of that with implementation is essentially the challenge of the day. I may risk offending everybody in the room with the next thing I'm about to say, but there are times as I've watched lawyers and judges struggle with this issue that I wonder if we would be better off just handing it off to an elementary school crowd. And what I mean by that is that if you pull together a group of 5 to 10 years old and ask them what they thought about the fact that if somebody's home is at stake or keeping their kids is at stake, what do they think about a system where one side gets a lawyer and the other side doesn't? I am pretty darn sure that they would be outraged. They would tell you that it is unfair. They would come up with some ideas to fix it, and they would do it in enough time to have plenty of time left for snack and ice. And I think the best way that we can honor Gideon at 50 is to capture some of the outrage that people would have and forget the fact that whatever it was in law school, continuing legal education, judicial education, that has to lose that outrage, recapture it. Worked really hard on the issues. We've moved the ball forward quite a bit in Massachusetts, but we need help. And we are lucky enough to have our friends from California and from Pennsylvania, and of course, importantly, Chief Judge Littman to help us. And if we do our job well, and if we do it quickly, snack and recess, form of the reception afterward.